Yo, what is going on, guys? This is Jacked Wedgeo here today. We're coming at you with another replay with the OCG stuff. So post Battles of Chaos, of course, all you guys know that. So this match today is going to be against. It's going to be a few matches. It's going to be 2.5. We decided to run back a few, and then the third one, it only reached to game 1, but he had to go. It's either that or I was just like. Spoiler kind of destroying him. So like yeah, this is against branded branded Despy or whatever, like branded Brave token. A deck that's doing really well in the OCG, like the Despia stuff, is just or branded whatever they're calling it. It's doing really well in the OCG. I believe it's just called branded, but it's doing really well in the OCG. So on to these kind of videos. I'm gonna try doing them maybe like once a week kind of deal. I'm just like playing this, so I'm just like really prepared for when this stuff comes out, and then I've kind of figured out like all like the possibilities of combos. I'm very comfortable playing this deck against a lot of the upcoming decks, and I'm just very comfortable just navigating through it. Like it's kind of like it just becomes like a soul habit to think of where different routes to go, and because it's a very complicated deck, like the pure stuff, especially with all these different routes now and all the restrictions that are related to the pure stuff. It can be very complicated. So I'm just trying to prepare for what's going to be upcoming. But anyways, guys, this is a pretty good bunch of replays. So I will be, like I normally do, I'll be walking through these step-by-step analysis and then like plot out what my hand's going to be or what my hand will ultimately become, like what the best play options for them. And this will help you guys to help navigate and help learn like how these combos work and really have like the proper mindset when you're playing this. And so yeah, let's just jump into this. So I win the rock, paper, scissors, shoot here. So I'm going to pause this. So I'm going to take first here. So 40 versus 41. So opening hand. I'm not going to go too much over what he has because I obviously don't know what his hand is. If anything, I could just block out his hand right now, but I'll just keep it open just so you guys can keep an idea, I guess. So my opening hand is Kepler, Lamia, Orthros, Gate, Imperm. So you guys are seeing like obviously a pretty good hand. Like you can see like Orthros pretty good, Lamia's like an extender. This is like kind of bait, but it also gets me the other contract, which is actually really key as to why this hand is actually full combo. A lot of people may not see how this is full combo, but I'll demonstrate you guys why, and as it starts going through, you'll see why and how I'm playing it out. But again, Gate gives me access to the Griffin, and then I also have Orthros. So like normal summoning the Kepler, special summoning the Griffin, and going into the Gilgamesh. At that point, I can then pendulum summon out the Griffin and the Orthros, and then Griffin can also give me a draw because of Lamia. So, and then that just becomes the rank 4. And like I will be missing Necrosun, but you'll see why that doesn't matter because Kepler, as long as it doesn't get Ash or Imperm, which I don't know this right at the current time of doing this, but right now I do. He has no hand traps. He has a good hand, obviously, but it's not enough to push through what DDs can do full combo. So anyways, here we're going to start off. We're going to normal summon, go to main phase 1. Kepler is going to use the effect. He's going to let that through. And I'm going to grab the Swamp King. So the reason why I grab Swamp King, and I think this is like more so a habit a lot of people will do, is just grab the Swamp King because it's that other contract. We also have patented, right? But I mean, this is the proper way to do it because you typically want to start off your combo. Your first fusion summon you typically want in this deck with your 2-pair combos, your Necroslime. But this Swamp King will serve as your Necroslime, and first Necroslime, and then later on we'll find a way to we'll be able to, since we don't have to add the Swamp King, later on we'll be able to recycle the Kingtail, the rank 5. We'll be able to cycle through him twice instead of reviving the Caesar. That way we can send a Necroslime and get our rank 6 going. So that's how this is going to play out here. So we're going to go ahead. Gate's going to attempt to search the Griffin. Griffin's going to activate the effect of Special Summon here. Special Summon the Griffin. And we're going to go Link 2. I'm going to go for Gilgamesh. Gilgamesh will use the effect. So I'm going to place the scales. And if you guys see my previous video, I demonstrated you guys why I placed Ragnarok and Orthros. A lot of people may know at this point, but the reason why you're placing Ragnarok is because it's part of your combo, right? Pendulum Summon level 4s because it's a 5 and a 3. And then Orthros can also use the effect to pop the XCs and recycle itself back with the patented. I went over that last video, but if you guys don't know, you'll see in a sec. So I'm going to burn 1,000 here on resolution. Panel Summon 2, and then this is why like Griffin is just the best upcoming. Griffin is just by far the best card. Like Griffin, oh my god, like this card is hands down the best DD monster ever put out. This card does way too much for the deck, but it's good, obviously, right? We want that. You use all 3 effects in the same turn, like to special summon himself. When he's pendulum summon, his draw effect really comes in clutch. Like a lot of times you like just ditch a random card and draw into like an imperm or an ash, right? Or just an extra card for fuel. And then his graveyard effect is just insane, adding the headhunt or like any DD card you're missing, right? So we'll see a lot of Griffin action these matches. So I draw into a Kepler. Realistically, this is probably just going to be used for fuel for the Swamp King. Because I already have it is like a good follow-up for next turn, but I probably won't need it. It's just more so fuel for the Swamp King. So I don't have to banish too many cards from my graveyard. So I'm going to overlay into Caesar. I'm going to go right for the King Tell here. And then Orthros going to use, or King Tell's going to use the effect, burn him for 1,000 by targeting one of my cards. To downgrade 1,000 attack and defense. We're going to use Orthros here. This is going to pop the King Tell in itself. And if you guys don't know, if you really read Orthros carefully, I stepped over this last video, but once per turn, you can target one spell and trap card on the field. So that spell and trap card on the field can be itself, and one other DD or Dark Contract card you control. That card being the King Tell. So a lot of people automatically render this in their head as like, it's kind of a habit, because normally what you would do is you use Orthros to you would target another card and then their spell and trap, so you can just backward removal. But when it comes to your actual combos, if you actually like see like the deck box, like from like the structure deck box, actually one of the combos actually outlines this specific effect that how you can combo. But I think a lot of people forget how that works, right? It's very intricate wording, but it does come up, especially here. Now this is like your main part of your 2-card combo, and this is how this works. So King Tell can use the effect of Foolish Burial, DD, or Dark Ascend. We're gonna search Patented Dark Contract. So if I stated this last video, if you guys aren't playing it, you have to run this card. It is essential for your combo. The reason being is because it recycles Orthros when it is sent to the graveyard. Then Orthros can special summon itself when you take damage, burn damage from your Ragnarok. So you have to be playing Patented Dark Contract, and it makes it a lot easier to recycle 2. That's why I play 2, because on the follow-up, I can either like, if I have an extra search where I already open it, I can just pop it in my field spell zone, and it's just amazing fuel for Machina. And it's also just it's also good for having the because when it's sent, it recycles an extra face-up extra or a card in the graveyard for your follow-up. And then on top of that, it's just great to lock your opponent out, right? So having the second one, I'll probably just keep it at 2 for as long as I can. And then here we're using Swamp King to replace the Necroslime, like I was explaining earlier, because typically you're going to use Necroslime, but we don't have it. So this is where Swamp King comes up. We're going to summon our first Genghis. This will trigger Ragnarok. This will special summon the Griffin. And we just proceed with our normal combo here. So Griffin's going to be, Genghis is going to be Chain Link 1 now. So I'm going to burn 1,000. Genghis will be Chain Link 1, Griffin 2, and then Orthros chain blocks all of that. So that'll be fine. I'm going to special summon that, grab the Headhunt off the Griffin, and then I'm going to revive the King Tell. So typically in the normal combo, we're recycling the Caesar, but we're not going to do that here, obviously, because we're typically trying to search out the Swamp King, but we need a Necroslime to get the rank 6. So I'm going to recycle the King Tell, because his Foolish Burial effect is not once per turn. Really freaking good. We're going to Synchro. Let me just read something on King Tell real quick. So yeah, it has to target another card, and then yeah, the effect's so good. I just had to like make sure it was once per turn, or it's not once per turn, but yeah, it's a really, King Tell is just amazing. To be able to abuse that effect to just Foolish can really fuel and just really give yourself a good follow up on top of that, but it also makes a lot of these combos alive, right? So after I link those 2 off, this will now trigger the King Tell to get the Necroslime in graveyard. We use Siegfried with the 2 level 4s. One of them's Orthros, obviously a tuner, and that's where the Siegfried comes up. That's your main access to Siegfried in this deck. So we're going to go next play here. Necroslime's going to use effect. You can see where this falls in now. We're just going to get rid of the Gilgamesh because we have a 3rd one, and we do not need Gilgamesh in our graveyard at all. It's like the least important card. So right now we've got King Tell, Kepler, Caesar, and Lamia, so we do have a good, fairly fueled graveyard for the next turn. And so we're going to summon the second Genghis. This will now be able to summon the Wave King Caesar, which this card single-handedly on itself can actually just shut out a lot of decks going forward. Can shut out like Branded Fusion. This card shuts out Branded Fusion, the Fusion spell. Once you shut out those 2 cards, they really don't have much they can do, right? But another thing to note on is that a lot of people I think aren't really giving this deck a solid chance. And I think a lot of people just need like the proper education on this deck, and that's kind of why I'm making these videos. So people can really get the hindsight that this deck, even though it's doing okay in the OCG, like it's still topping events and like placing first in some pretty decent events. But it has a better chance at striving here because our ban list and our format is way different. We don't have max C, we don't have 3 skill drain. Like it's a lot easier for us to actually go through. And if the ban list gets rid of a lot of stupid lingering effects, like Protos needs to go, Dagda I think needs to go. Scythe has always been around. Scythe on its own is a good floodgate, but I think Dagda is the main problem because that's what's giving everyone just super easy access. That way they have to play like bricks to access it. And then like the Harpy's Feather, the Featherstorm needs to get the heck out of here. And then IO, it's not going to do anything if IO stays. IO's been around, but I mean like IO also needs to go. Obviously it's way too powerful. But those three cards I was just stating, the lingering effects are the problem. Like Protos, we can't even play with Protos. Like it's just you can't even get rid of it either. So just a little rant there, but just so you guys know, I think this deck's really going to come out swinging as a tier 2, tier 1.5 if people really respect the deck's power, and really lab with this deck. A lot of people, like I said, are underestimating this deck right now, and they really shouldn't be. I think it has a solid chance for the TCG to perform. So anyways, back to this. I'm going to set my 2 cards, and I'm going to take the other Tavern from Ragnarok. So here's our end board. Obviously, I have nothing in hand. This isn't anything to worry about. But the reason, so anyways, you're typically going to end on the Gate and the Swamp King because they're typically part of your combo. So this is a suck up 4 for a Machina, which against a lot of decks is really hard. Like if you play against like Sword Soul, my buddy was playing me with Dragon Link the other day, and like Dragon Link will never, unless they really open good and have like Dark Ruler, they will not beat this deck. Like their engine, a lot of decks that have to build up their board cannot beat this deck without hand traps and stuff because like Sword Soul, a lot of like even Branded has a struggle if they have to use their monster effects. A lot of decks that have to use monster effects to build their boards cannot survive against this deck. Anyways, we have the two contracts, so he's a suck 4, double negation, Siegfried, Headhunt, and Imperm. And another reason why I'm playing Imperm, the reason why it's really good is because typically after you do your full combo, you have 4 slots and you have 1 slot remaining. So Imperm's really good to just set on top of everything. That's why I'm playing Imperm and Ash as my 2 hand trap cards. They're also very impactful, right? So it's going to be very hard for him to get around this. So he's going to draw. He drew Tragedy, which is actually good for his engine, but I mean, like, is it going to do anything? As long as I play it smart, right? I'm obviously going to let Patchwork through. If anything, I just want to negate the Poly. I don't want Poly to resolve. And on top of that, if he does have a way to push through all this and does like a Poly after everything, well, I still have a Headhunt to just take his card. Headhunt's crazy, just being it's just a crazy Widowmaker is what it is, and it just benefits you on the fall for another Machina. Really just crazy. So he's gonna drop the Brave token stuff. So he's gonna go with the Brave token stuff. I'm not super familiar with the Brave token stuff like I am. I know what like Griffin Rider and stuff does, but I have to just watch. I'm not 100% familiar with like the effects. They're pretty long, right? I haven't like fully read the cards, I just have to like. I'm just gonna let him play it through because I know like the whole goal of this is just to get to Griffin Rider, and Griffin Rider is not too scary for me. But I'm just reading his cards. One of the cards, like the spell card, can like attempt to bounce, and I think he's gonna try to add here, and he's gonna use the equip effect. So he's gonna equip that spell. I know the spell card. Yeah, this card is the one that bounces. So I just wanted to like read it over, and I thought for some reason he was using the effect here, so I triggered Siegfried, and he's like. I was like, oh, we're using the effect. He's like, oh no, I wasn't. And I was like, oh, okay, then never mind. Because like when I was reading, for some reason I thought he was declaring the effect. I don't know. But then he's gonna declare the effect, and I'm like, okay, now here he's gonna target the Caesar. Obviously, that tells me right away he's also gonna have a problem dealing with the Caesar. I'm gonna negate that because that's the main threat. And now you can see after that, if he's dropping Poly, there's only 2 cards I have to worry about. Is Poly and Branded Fusion in this deck. This guy single-handedly can stop that. On top of that, I've got Headhunt and Imperm. There's no way he's playing around this, so we're just going to play it through. And Caesar, like I said, I play it fairly smart because until like I feel like there's a decent amount of threat that he can build up to, I won't force out a Siegfried until it's like he activates something like this, right? So just play it smart, and then because you got to know what you have, right? I have Caesar, this. It's a lot of resources, right? It's enough to shut out, like, he's got 5 cards in his hand. This is plenty, right? So he's gonna, once I get rid of the Brand of Fusion, I know I'm in a pretty good spot. So he's gonna set that. I think he's just gonna pass turn. Yeah, he's just gonna pass up by setting the Edge of Chain. And now here, like, you guys kind of can see like where this is gonna go. We're gonna head into the main phase after I burn 2, and you can see obviously I have really I'm not gonna lose this, but the reason why I kind of want to just keep playing through to show you guys is because the reason why I still play Baron, and I think you guys all need to be playing Baron when it comes through. Siegfried and Baron are probably only going to be the 2 Siegfrieds you're going to play in the Pure, is because on your follow-up is when you can summon Baron, or like he plays around a beer too if you can normal summon your Orthros, and you have a decent amount of combo pieces. But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to search, and the card I always search is Ghost. So Ghost again is really good for fuel, but at the same time it's a level 2 tuner. And so here now, since I haven't burned through the level 8, I can use a fusion spell to summon Genghis. So the first thing I'm going to do is summon Genghis. Now I already have a spell and trap negation, 2 spell and trap negations if that were to be a thing. Right now I only need to negate 1, the one that protects him. So I'm going to normal summon, and the reason why I want to do in this order, like normal summon after the Genghis, is because Big Genghis triggers off a normal summon. So now you can special summon. And this is just really good bounce back. Like, this offers such a good bounce back on top of everything else you can possibly do. So after you've done that, you summon the Genghis, or whoever you want to revive back. Now you can just go into Baron. It's a free Baron, and then Baron is a board clear. I'm just getting all the counters off from the attack gain from last turn. So I'm going to use Baron to pop one of his cards. He's going to use the effective chain, that's fine. And now you can see where this is going. Just going to skip through. I just want to make sure on the card that's protecting his token, I'm just going to negate that card. I'm just going to go to battle phase, swing him for game. Yeah, so that's game. I'm going to go into game 2 here. He's going to go first, and I think this is the last time I actually go first for all these matches. I'm actually going to be going second, and I'm actually not really going to lose anything. So, pretty good. Actually, I don't think I do too good here. As you can see, he set it in Twin Twisters, which is actually really good. Smart. It's actually a smart play because it tells me that he knows the deck fairly well, because he's going to be trying to pop my scales, because he knows once he can stop enough of my stuff, my scales are kind of my last option through the Gilgamesh. So he opened a pretty. He's got the Rite of Armesia, he's got the Fallen of Albaz and the Callby and the Twisters. Very strong opening. I got Swirl Slime. I'm gonna let him go through his combo. Swirl Slime, Gate, Ash, Orthros, Swirl Slime. So it's a pretty good hand. I'm gonna let him summon the Griffin Rider, and then I'm gonna try to Ash his Branded Fusion just to get the Griffin Rider off the board. So the Griffin Rider is gonna go back into the deck. That's okay if he gets the fusion. At least I have the Omni Negate out of the way. I'm not gonna Ash I'm not gonna bother ashing the Brave token stuff, right? So so he's gonna play it out, and so okay, so I skipped through a bit, but so here's the deal here, right? There's a few things I can do. So he's got, this card's a beast. Like, this card just quick effect banishes a card, so I gotta already take that in. Banishes a monster, I believe. Banishes a monster from the field, so he's obviously gonna try to get rid of my Genghis if I go for it. So I can't just immediately go into a Baron using the Orthros to normal summon and then just fusion summon, climb into a Baron, because I know this is a threat. And he's got 2 face downs. One thing I could do is use Orthros to just clear a random back row, but I'm not going to bother that until he flips a floodgate, or because I think I have enough to just push through this. So I want to save my Orthros for a rank 4 play, right? So what I'm going to do here, next play, and I'm going to start off the fusion to bait out his Ice Blade Dragon. So as you can see, Lambie is also another form of extender in my hand, and if I normal summon it, it's also a card that I can also extend from my graveyard, which will come up in this game to just summon the Gilgamesh. So right away he's going to use this, so I can't trigger to summon the Griffin back, which would give me another extender on top of everything if I were able to recycle the Griffin. So smart play there. I'm going to use Swirl Slime effect here, going to banish, special summon the Orthros. So now I'm going to be locked into Fiends, which isn't a big deal, like I said, unless I want to go into a Zeus, which it's not really going to... I want to try to go full combo here, so that's last resort, but I'm not going to be able to go into Zeus here. So I'm going to normal summon the Lamia. That way I can extend with it later on if I really have to, and get the Swirl Sign in the grave. A bunch of stuff can come up, right? So So I'm going to scale these two. I'm going to scale the Griffin and the Ragnarok. Reason being is because I actually sided out the second Orthros, which is something I probably shouldn't have done, but he's going to flip Twin Twisters, which obviously looks bad for me here. I did not expect Twin Twisters in the slightest. Pretty spicy card. Pretty smart play on him to get rid of my scales. Now he knows my plays can actually get rolling here. So I'm going to pop these, and all I'm going to do is just go into a Machina. It's probably not going to be enough, but I'm just going to attack his token just for jokes. I just kind of just pass, right? Like I said, there's nothing I can really do about this. So we're going to fast forward. I'm just going to let him play it out here. I'm just sitting on a Machina. I don't want to, obviously don't want to destroy this card because it'll destroy all my monsters at end. I don't want that happening. And I see he does plenty here, so I'm like, yep, sure. So I'm actually going to take first now. And opening hand, he's got double Imperm in his opening hand. Obviously, again, I don't know that. He's got combo. I have no clue what this card is. I've actually never even seen this thing before. Like, I didn't see it during this game either, so I'm actually just seeing this now. I have no clue what that is. It's a Tri-Brigade card, I guess, but it has to do with fault. Yeah, they all have to do with like legacy stuff. So okay, makes sense. So I have a very strong opening here. So I have my 2-card combo, so Kepler and Griffin. So automatically, obviously, I'm going to go for my 2-card combo. I am going to want to grab the Copernicus, special summon the Griffin, link them off, summon the Link, and then go for the XE summon, right? And opening this is really good because I can place this on top, leave a fusion out, and then that limits him to summoning 1 fusion card. So if I can drop a Headhunt on the fusion card, he can't even fusion summon again, which is a really, really ideal for me, right? So on top of the whole thing, the whole combo, since I opened this, it's going to really, really hinder him, but it's obviously isn't going to come up. If he has double Imperm, it's going to really hurt me. He's going to confidently drop an Imperm on this, I believe. Yeah, he's going to drop an Imperm because he has 2, so he knows he can afford to just negate this one. Griffin's going to be able to special summon itself. And I'm going to link 2, go into a Gilgamesh, and if he meets with this, so he's going to meet it with an Imperm. So meeting it with an Imperm, Imperming your Gilgamesh it really hurts, obviously. But it's not going to be the end of the world here. So you got to think, he's got 3 cards. He's going to have 4 coming up. I do still have a chance. And the reason being is because I can overlay this into a Machina, place this in my Spell and Trap zone, and then I have two other forms of interruption. So I have a potential 2 material suck-ups, which can come up because he has Albaz, right? And whatever this card is, I don't really know what it does again. But again, like as once he activates an effect, as long as it's not threatening me, I just suck up his materials, and it's going to make it really hard for him to build a board. But on top of that, Patented Dark Contract is the best fuel card for Machina. Reason being is because once I destroy it to suck up a monster, I'm plussing because, well, not technically plussing, but like I'm able to recycle my resources because once it's sent, I can add either a Griffin or a Kepler. I'm obviously going to grab Kepler because next turn it can link off with the Machina. I can grab the next turn as the Griffin, link off into another Gilgamesh, and then go into a Pendulum Summon the 2 level 4s, send the Necro Slime off Copernicus, and then I'm off to the races, right? So it might be enough. I'm kind of feeling a little bit confident here. It depends. Since he already burned through 2 cards in his hand, and he's a fusion-based deck, I'm not too deep into the mud. So this is actually a very strong board. It doesn't look like a strong board, but it is, especially against a fusion-based deck that's down to 3 cards in their hand. So he's going to open Ecclesia. I think Ecclesia, all it does for this deck is just summon out Albaz, so I don't know if that was the best draw. So he's going to go to Standby Phase, main phase 1. He's going to summon the Albaz. And what I can really do here that's going to actually be spicy is stop him from adding his fusion spell because I do not want that fusion spell in sight. What I can do here is do this. Now, this is the card I want him to summon because now this really comes in to help me, right? So as long as he doesn't open he doesn't hard open the Despia fusion spell or the branded fusion spell, whatever, I can now activate Machina, so it doesn't destroy for cost. But what happens here is he's going to let that okay. So sorry, I'm just going to play through. So he's going to let that through. So what I can do is Chainlink 3, I'm going to flip Imperm. So Chainlink 3 flipping Imperm targeting the Albaz is really strong here because it's almost making Machina negation. And since he had to pitch, he's negging really hard. He only has 2 cards, which I know, unless he hard open Branded Fusion, I really don't care. But on top of that, I have the Ash for the Branded Fusion. So playing it this way is really smart because I'm taking away his. I'm making him neg really hard. I'm getting his stuff, and then this. He has another suck up. I have the Ash, like I said, and this is just going to recycle the Kepler. So he doesn't get the effects of Imperm. So we'll get attached to Machina. So I'm going to skip through this. There we go. So Patented now. I like this card is just like so good. Patented is just so good. The synergy it has with this card is just way too good. The synergy that the card has in deck with the deck in general is just way too good. So I'm gonna recycle the Kepler, and let's see what he does. Like I say, I'm feeling pretty confident because I still have the suck up again because he can detach the 2 materials. He's a potential to go into Zeus if I really need to next turn, but like I said, I have full combo waiting for him next turn. Yeah, I think he's just go right to end phase. So I don't think Ecclesia was really gonna do much in this. I'm not 100% sure what Brandon Red does. Like I said, I don't know his hand right now. I do, but like, and I hard draw the Copernicus. This is just spelling game over. Like I said, I just went through the just explained how the combo works. I'm gonna normal summon this, search out the gate. I can search out anything now I want. Link these 2 off. Summon the Copernicus and the Griffin. Copernicus sends. This can actually set. I can actually get a card I want in the graveyard, like a Vice Typhon, and send that off of the Griffin's draw effect when he's Pendulum Summon. Then I get a free card, and then Griffin's live in the graveyard. So that's probably what I would have done. But I think he's just going to scoop here. Play it through. Oh, that was a misclick. Going to grab the gate. I think he knows he's done here. Going to go ahead, just link these 2 off. Yeah, and he's going to admit defeat. So like I said, guys, the thing I would have done here, like I said, Gate would have added the Typhon. I am playing Typhon now. I wasn't playing my last build. I tried to run it without it. It just doesn't really work because some of the stuff that comes up, like my last video, you actually do need it. I'm running another card that I'll explain to you in my deck, but the Gate would search the Typhon, and then the Griffin, its Pendulum Summon effect, I have to ditch a DD or Dark Contract and draw a card. That would ditch Griffin and give me a free card, and then I'd have full combo on top, also on top of the full combo along with the Typhon summoning the level 8. And I'm just way off to the races because I haven't burned through any resources yet. I just summoned the Machina and the Gilgamesh. So we're going to rematch it here. We're going to run a rematch. And I think, yeah, he knows what I'm going to be rolling now. So he's going to take first. I'm going to run this through. He's going to pause. So we're going to analyze my hand here. His opening hand, it's all right, I guess. My opening hand is Kepler, Thomas, Imperm, Allure, Orthros. Very strong hand because Imperm can essentially shuts off one of the problem cards, either the Brave card or it actually forces out the Brave. That way it can deal with the fusion he's going to put out better. And then Allure is just a dig card, so I can get rid of Thomas if I don't need it. Orthos I probably want in my hand, and then Kepler is my almost full combo. Like if I have option 2 at Orthos, is pretty much full combo. Another level 4 anyways. So we're gonna just fast forward here. You're gonna see I'm just gonna hold the Imperm because it's gonna. Against a deck like his, it doesn't make an oppressive, more of like a follow-up. It's more of like a mid-range board he's going to put out. I don't want to jump to any conclusions of wasting my Imperm. I'm just going to let him do his thing. Like I said, this isn't like a freaking bird up deck where you need to Imperm them during the combo, or you're just not, one Imperm's not going to do anything in the follow-up, right? Or when you're going second. So we're just going to let him do his thing. And yeah, he's going to pass here. So I drew Ghost, and he's going to end on the Masquerade. I don't think this does anything on field. I'm going to try to bait out his Griffin Rider, because I have the Imperm for the Griffin Rider. I want to stop this card, obviously, because I'm going to be burning through a lot of effect activations. But he's got Griffin Rider for that. So he's basically thinking with the amount of effects I can use, it's going to be hard for me, right? Because I'm going to have to pay 600. It's like, it's Red Eyes Flare all over again. Pretty much, except it's a total of 600 life. He's going to let this through. And I'm going to draw Typhon another Kepler, and I believe I just get rid of the Kepler. I mean, I don't know why I wouldn't, yeah. So that's probably telling you I have another Kepler. Now, if you analyze my hand, I got Kepler, Thomas, Orthros, Ghost, Typhon. So what I'm thinking here is, okay, I definitely want to Imperm the Griffin Rider here. I don't want to get my Kepler negated, because to get my plays rolling, I'm going to have to add the... I want to add the level 4 here, the Griffin. So I'm going to have to force out his Griffin Rider no matter what here. And I'm calculating my life points here, how much I can actually take to see if I need to go for a combo or simply just go for more of like a little bit more of a fusion-based combo, bunch of combos. And I have Thomas, right? So this can pop a scale and then just summon out the Ragnarok, right? And then I can just go into a Kali Yuga. So I'm going to negate his Griffin Rider, so I'm still going to have to be burning 600 here. And throughout this whole thing, I'm just kind of calculating. So I'm just going to, eventually I'm just going to decide to go in here. I think, I'm going to add the Griffin here. Yeah, so I'm just going to go in here. I'm just going to try to go for as much of my combo as I can. And then what I did was I calculated, I got to a Machina, and then by the time I got the Thomas to summon out the rank 8, I think I calculated like 1,200 life points or something. Took me like a minute or so to calculate it, but I was like, you know what, I can do this, whatever. So I'm just going to go as much as I can here and kind of demonstrate what I can do under this pressure. Going to summon the Griffin, going to link 2. Like I said, unless he has like a Nibiru or something in his hand, I'm not too worried because, like I said, I did some calculations here. So I'm going to scale the Kepler and the Griffin. The reason why I'm scaling these two is because Griffin will be able to boost my thing. I don't really need Orthros in this situation. But what I'm going to do here is so I'm going to Pendulum Summon 3. So I'm going to Pendulum Summon 3. I'm going to use the effect of Griffin. Yeah, I'm going to use the effect of Griffin here to draw. So I get Typhon the Grave and then I get Ash. So like I said, that's a really good trade-off with Griffin here. So I'm going to Synchro these two. Go for the Siegfried. Like I said, I can't afford to go into the rank 8 here. So it is what it is. Going to go ahead here. Some of that, and you guys might be wondering why I put this instead of what's his name, Orthros, not Griffin, Orthros. It's not a huge deal. Like it can boost my stuff. I could have placed Orthros in scale, but again, I'm activating an effect. I'm paying 600 life points just to get rid of this card. It really doesn't make any sense. I'd rather have like an attack boost for a follow up, and then Machina can ultimately just place itself in scale, special summon this, and then put another card in my scale. So it's what it is. It gives me a free Griffin, right? So. It's not a huge deal there, but like I said, I'm under Masquerade or whatever this card is. Once I summon this guy, I'm free. So here I made it to 1,600 life points. So I expected 1,200, like I said, but I actually made it to 1,600. It's gonna go ahead, go battle phase, clear his stuff, and I know he has a decent follow up, but I think this is gonna be enough. Just because I got rid of Griffin Rider, and this card is gonna try to bounce, but I can use Kali Yuga to get rid of the bounce, which Kali Yuga is actually gonna kind of clutch me here. I obviously can't go into Zeus because I use Gilgamesh. I'm locked into DDs or Fiends, I believe. And so I'm going to let him play here. He's got 3 cards. I know he has Patrick, I believe. He has or whatever that card is. He's going to use the effect to try and bounce. I'm going to use Kali Yuga here to wipe that. And he can still summon... it's going to use the effect to summon itself back out. The card's so annoying. Dragon Steed. So yeah, I still have Machina, like I said, which isn't going to do me anything because I have no contracts anymore. I had to force this out so he didn't bounce the Siegfried. Because I want to hold Siegfried for if he has a fusion spell. That way he can't get his main plays are through his fusion plays, right? Like you could argue saying that I could have saved for Machina, but what's really more important here is actually Siegfried. And I do have an Ash Blossom, right? So in that case, I am ready for the branded fusion and the fusions, or the branded fusion and Poly. So I'm just trying to like manage what I have, right? Ultimately, he's gonna summon the Masquerade, and he's telling me he has nothing. So I think he just scoops up here. Yeah. I guess he really didn't have much. Like I don't know how good the deck's what the deck could have done with the hand he had. But like I said, I was holding it out for him. I think he wanted to make the Siegfried. Now he knows I have Siegfried. He only had, if you've seen his hand, he only had access to 1 fusion spell, so it does make sense. And I had Ash in hand already. So, is what it is. So, I'm going to go second again. So, I'm 1-0 right now for this match. And, yeah, he bricks. I don't know this right now until he sets 1 card, but double cross out, call by, and double chain, that's DB algorithm. And then if you're comparing my hand, it's double imperm, Swamp King. This is full combo with double imperm and the extender. I'm just going to let this play out. Like, I really don't have to explain what happened there. So he basically just scoops. My hand was just absurd, and yeah, we're gonna run it up one more time. And like I said, this is only 1 more game. We didn't get the full match here, but this is match 3. It's only gonna be 1 game. Opening hand against full combo. We got Gate on top of everything, so if I want to, I can actually grab Swirl Slime. 1-for-1 can also really help me out, and then Allure. So this is a really versatile hand. Has a lot of potential, especially if I draw like another Dark or something really something really interesting. This hand's very, very good. Especially, this is just combo, like I said, and then this is like a protection to make sure it goes through. He's got the so he's got the branded the brave token stuff. He's got imperm, which is really good against me, obviously. And it looks like he's got combo to me, but I'm not sure. I'll just let him play it out. Again, we're not here for this deck. We're here to see DTD. So okay, yeah, that's it. Okay. So like I said, I'm not like 100% sure on how the deck works. I never actually piloted. But this isn't like the strongest open, but I think he thinks it might be enough because he's got Griffin Rider and Imperm, but at the same time, if he really wants to stop me, I can just go into... Okay, so I drew Swirl Slime, so this is immediately like very good for me, right? So I'm gonna obviously start off with a lure, try to bait his guy out anyways. These draws were so good. Griffin and Imperm. So Imperm automatically shuts out Griffin Rider. I just have to worry about his face down and what's in his hand at this point, which I don't know. I get rid of the Griffin, obviously, because now I have Swirl Slime, Griffin, Copernicus. Gate can add me anything else, so I can go for the... I can actually play around Nibiru, and I can still go full combo because I'll show you how 1-for-1 is going to react later. I'm going to save 1-for-1 for later in the combo here. So I'll walk you step by step through how I'm going to try and play it through Nibiru. So people ask me why I'm playing Baphomet. I play Baphomet at 1 because this card plays around Nibiru. It's really the only reason why I play it. It just transforms the card into a level 6, and then I can just overlay before my 5th summon. So I'm going to go ahead here. I'm going to use Swirl Slime, Fusion Summon, going to use that in the Griffin, and then we're going to go, Banish Special Summon, Special the Copernicus. He's going to Imperm the Genghis, that's fine. So now, if he imperms the Genghis, it's not huge for me. Like I said, I have access to the level 4s. Baphomet's another level 4. I have 1-for-1, but I'm not going to use it yet, and I'll show you. I'll walk through why I'm not going to use it yet. So I'm just going to go ahead, use these two, and at this point, Griffin's good in the graveyard because I don't need it. I don't need a Pendulum Summon it. I have nothing I want to pitch right now. Baphomet and Copernicus are just going to be my 2 level 4s, and I already have Oh, I didn't put the Necro Slime in yet. I declared Copernicus, but I think it wasn't until I Pendulum Summon I was like, oh, I didn't send it yet when I was declaring my Chain Links. So now, unless he has a hand trap, I've got nothing really to worry about. As you can see, this is essentially going to go full combo here, but I already burned through a Genghis here, so it doesn't necessarily become full combo, but I'll show you how this is going to work. So there goes the Necro Slime that I declared earlier but didn't send. Going to overlay here. Going to summon Caesar. I believe I'm going to declare his effect just in case, so I can revive some stuff at the end of the battle phase. Probably will never come up, but you never know. It's always, there's no point in not using his effects. Kingtel. So Kingtel is going to use the effect to burn for 1,000, decrease Griffin Rider by 1,000. That way it's a lot easier for me to swing over. And so I'm still going to use Orthros effect to pop here. I'm still going to do the same thing. We're going to recycle the Orthros. So we're going to use Kingtel, send the Patented. Patented's going to recycle the Orthros here. And now we have Necro Slime, so I'm still going to go for the Little Genghis. Little Genghis is going to now trigger the Ragnarok, summoning the Orthros back. He's going to be on half damage, doesn't really matter. So now we're going to summon Orthros here, special summon. So this is now Siegfried, and like I said, I already burned through Genghis, so I can't trigger it, but this isn't going to really hurt too much. So the card, this is where the 1-for-1 is going to really clutch me here. Is I'm going to add Typhon off of the Orthros. Oh, sorry, I just opened a bunch of random stuff. So anyways, this is where 1-for-1 is really going to clutch me because Griffin, instead of adding, I'm going to have to sacrifice the fact that I can't grab the trap, but I can still go 1-for-1, pitch the Vice Typhon, summon a card, like summon like a Lamia probably, and I can then synchro these cards. I can summon Vice, I can use Vice Typhon to summon the, so I think he actually just scoops here. Addis from Griffin, yeah, he's got to go here, so he's going to scoop here. Basically, how this would have played out, like I was saying, is you 1-for-1 summon a Lamia. You're going to Vice Typhon effect in graveyard. So, because you're pitching for the 1-for-1, you're going to pitch the Vice Typhon. You're going to Vice Typhon in graveyard to fusion summon the level 8, the Big Genghis. And then once you have Big Genghis, you're going to summon him like here or something. Then you're going to summon the Siegfried. And then Siegfried summon is going to trigger the Vice Typhon, and it'll summon back the Caesar. And at that point, you already have your Siegfried, Machina. You have Machina, or you can just keep Gilgamesh on the board. You link off the level 1 that you summon for another Gilgamesh, but you can also transform High King Genghis into a Machina. That way you have all board presence. And then you have the rank 6 because the 2 Genghises are out. So that's how that would have played out. That's how I kind of strategized that, just having the 1-for-1 in hand. Like I said, 1-for-1 is just a really good card to either start out your plays or extend further through your plays and help kind of fix some like awkward plays around, right? That's where I kind of like planned it out with 1-for-1. Having Vice Typhon is really nice, right? So yeah, I'm gonna hover over my deck list now before I end this video because I have a couple. I think I'm still logged into Dueling Book. Yep. So I'm gonna go over to Deck Constructor here and let's go over my deck list here. So same thing, same list as last time. The only difference here is that I'm running one Vice Typhon, and I'm running double Allure. So I had to cut Allure down to 2. Not the biggest deal. I'd like to play this at 3 still, just because it's free draws. But playing it at 2 is my consistency is still 100% fine. The deck itself is very consistent, and I couldn't cut anything else for the Vice Typhon. I still want to play this at 2 because, like I said, it's very good for recycling and recursion, as well as being able to just drop on the same turn. If you hard open this card and you have combo, it's actually very nuts. It's just something you pop on top and it really restrains your opponent, right? But at the same time, this card's just great fuel for Machina, and you have to burn through 1 during your 2-card combo, so you might as well just play 2 of this. I'm going to keep this at 2. I really like it at 2. And the only difference in the side deck is here, I'm actually running a double Rivalry over Anti-Spell, because Anti-Spell, like as good as it is, I can still just flip a Rivalry and it's going to make it a lot harder for a lot of decks, depending on what's going to be meta moving forward. But for now, Rivalry, even if they Dark Ruler me, they still got to deal with only summoning 1 type, as well as a Headhunt, and then I just get my follow-up. And then this remains, right? And it's not affecting me, it's affecting them. I just can't summon Baron, that's the only thing. Because everything except for Baron is a Fiend. And the other card I decided to put in was D-Arc. So I was playtesting the other day. D-Arc actually does come up sometimes. It's very rare. There is times where you're going to combo and you're actually going to need D-Arc and then summon Lamia back from the graveyard. It does come up. It's came up twice for me already. And this will help summon your Siegfried to help top off the rest of your combo, right? Because you're generally trying to end off with Siegfried, Machina, and the rank 6. So the one card I did cut was Kali Yuga, and the reason why I cut Kali Yuga is it did perform pretty well there, but in that one replay, but I actually did not need it. I didn't need it there, essentially. It was just the way I wanted to climb in because I knew I had access to it. I'd only put Kali Yuga back in if we had a really trap-heavy format, but I don't think it's going to get to that point. He's really not that necessary, especially if this card's kind of essential to some combos, I'm going to need it. Like I said, Kali Yuga, unless traps are heavily in the format, we really don't need Kali Yuga. It is what it is. He just doesn't really do anything on the second turn anyways. If anything, he just kind of clears the cards in your scales in your back row that you really want. So I just decided to cut it for that. It's the only card I could really cut, right? I still need 3 Gilgamesh, still need 2 of this for follow-up purposes, and yeah. So that's going to wrap up today's video, guys. I hope you guys liked it. I'll be trying to do these once a week. This is probably pretty long because, like I said, this is like 2.5. It's hard to like keep 100% focused on doing these, but I think I did a pretty good job going over this, recapping this video. I hope you guys learned something, and like I said, I'm not trying to like lecture you guys or anything. Just like take some pointers, and I really want this. I have OBS now. I really like this. My last video kind of screwed me over. Last editing software you screwed me over because last minute it gave me a watermark when I was completed everything. I was kind of upset about it, but I was like, whatever. So yeah, I will see you guys in the next video. See ya.